Tired of searching through endless products that don't quite fit your needs? Introducing iMarketplace at iShop.Black, the online marketplace designed specifically for the African American community. At iShop.Black, we understand the unique tastes and needs of our community. That's why we've designed and curated a collection of over 30,000 products just for you. From fashion to home decor, beauty to premium designer brands, we've got it all. Each product is thoughtfully selected to reflect our culture, our style, and our heritage. Why shop at stores that don't cater to your needs? With iShop.Black, you can find everything you're looking for in one place, created with you in mind. Hear what customers are saying. iShop.Black has products that really speak to me and my family's lifestyle. Another, I love the variety and quality. It feels good to support a marketplace that supports us. Join the growing number of satisfied customers who have discovered the difference. Visit iShop.Black today and start shopping for products designed just for you. iShop.Black, the #1 destination for melanated shoppers.
Hey, what's going on, fam? This is Jay Cameron inviting you to join us in Ethiopia next March 2025. And this is going to be an iconic trip that you don't want to miss, a trip of a lifetime. We're going to be visiting Addis Ababa, Gondor, Lalibela. You'll have a chance to taste the amazing Ethiopian food. You'll also have a chance to visit the Rastafarian community. You'll get the history, you'll get the fashion, you have an opportunity to shop. It's going to be a trip, an experience of a lifetime. So make sure you sign up to join us in Ethiopia, March 2025.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream this Wednesday, June the 12th, this evening. I hope everybody's day went good. I guess what they call Wednesday Hump Day. And like I said, all y'all probably getting off of work, or maybe got off of work 5 o'clock. Shout out to the rest of y'all on my East Coast people. 1 hour ahead of me at least. So shout out to y'all, because the majority of our viewership, at least in the United States, is in the Central and Eastern time zones. That's really the bulk of, who watches. So like I said, but we got some few people on the West Coast that reach out, definitely for sure, out of California. So shout out to the people in California as well. God bless y'all. Oh, 'cause I know y'all deal with a lot. There's some developing news out of California, but I'm probably gonna talk about that on the podcast tonight. I was thinking about doing a stream on it, but I'll probably have to do that another time. But with that being said, as we get to the topic tonight, and like I said, this topic, when I even discuss these topics are what I say family conversations. Nothing about it is with ill intent. Whatever somebody say in the comment section, I always represent what I say. And that's why I'm always gonna represent what I say, and I say alone, not what someone says in the comment section. But if I agree with that person, for some reason, I probably, hey, amen it and kind of repeat it. So just let y'all know this, ahead of time. No matter what problems that they're out there with Black America or any of our cousins in the diaspora, I'll deal with those issues and problems. At the end of the day, they are not my enemy. We got our problems, sure, but they're not my enemy. I'm gonna say that much. The people who are our enemy have hurt all of us in the diaspora. I will say that. And until we recognize that and realize that what we need to be focused on a little bit more, we're going to continue to have, some of these issues and problems. But with that being said, make sure that you saw Mr. J. Cameron there. If you want to join us in Ethiopia, March 31 through April 9, make sure you go ahead on and sign up for that trip. It's $199 down, then you can pay payments all the way up until, so you can do that. Take your friends, take your family. Last time it was reported to me, it was 18 spots left. So make sure you join that trip if that's something you would like to do. I don't want nobody to take trips when they don't want to. If they say they don't want to go nowhere, God bless you. Stay right where you at. Don't you move out your house. Stay right in it, like the pandemic, if you would like to. But for people that want to, go see Ethiopia and check it out, there's a lot of history there. I learned a lot of history when I went. It was very, interesting. So I'm very interested in seeing it since 2018, right? So let's get to the devotional, and then we'll get to all the stuff that we need to do. So let's see, who we gonna put up tonight? I'm trying to think. Who we got? Okay, one person said that's what they want to see. Okay, let me see if that starts from the beginning. Okay, cool.
I'm just telling you. I'm going to let you talk.
Who you talking to you gonna let? The voters let me. I got voted in. Who you talking to? You gonna let me? I got seconds left.
I want you to know.
Ain't she crazy? How many seconds? I'm counting your time. Miss Galloway, I'm gonna rule you out order. You keep talking so much.
Do I have the floor? Do I?
Yes, you do.
You have the floor. Thank you very much.
What a fool.
We have got to help the city of Flint. We have got to move the city forward. We have got to vote yes on this. Thank you.
Ms. Herkenroder, you the reason that I'm going to vote the way I'm going to vote, because you tried to put words in my mouth like I said you was a racist. You got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that.
Ms. Fields, please be very careful in that area. Please.
All I said there was mediation and there were people in rooms. That's not
who in what room and how many.
But I am going to finish saying this.
Oh, go ahead.
That's fine. Do you?
It shouldn't be fine. We got folks sitting in business, and I wouldn't care if you was the chair, the sofa, the TV. So you might want a dialogue.
I don't give a...
You don't give a what?
That's what he's trying to do.
So you dialoguing?
There's no dialogue.
It is some dialogue. You gave me some dialogue.
Councilwoman Worthy, what is your point of order? No, I'm not.
You ain't?
I'm not.
You must.
This is a joke.
Stop this abuse.
I'm going to give you a point of order. Personal attacks is out of order. Now, you want to make a personal attack on me, I'm going to tell you something. I'm tired of Ms. Fields calling me racist. I'm tired of you calling me personal names as it relates to women. I'm tired of it. It's wrong. You're out of order. But you keep doing it. Because when I start blasting your butt, like I'm doing, everybody already know it's coming from y'all. But don't get beside yourself, Mr. Chairman. If he gonna holler tell me to shut up, you better give him his warning.
I gave you yours.
Give him his. If you gonna discriminate, you gonna let the white man running for mayor holler across and tell this black man to shut up.
I don't want to hear
So
that.
when he get loud, I'm gonna get louder. When they go low, I go lower.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the great and dearly departed Eric Mays. I see a lot of people laughing at Eric Mays, and that's really what a lot of this is about. Is just something lighthearted before we get into the meat of our discussion this evening. So as you could see, I'm cool. So as you can see the title, why the Delineation movement led by Black Americans bringing calls for unity all of a sudden. Now, there was a piece of content that was put up by one of our distant cousins, and she had some commentary about this. But prior to me getting to that, I'm gonna say this: I can say let me just talk about my life. From the time I was born all the way up to now, every black person I knew growing up always had a reverence, for Africa for sure. Even, Caribbean, but definitely Africa. A lot of brothers and sisters wore they kente, a lot of them never been to Ghana. A lot of them wear dashikis. A lot of them, I remember growing up in the 90s and all that. You had the big Africa medallion chains. Everything had Africa on it. And I remember all that. We always had a reverence and respect for Africa. When the brothers and sisters was dealing with apartheid, black Americans was pressing our government to put sanctions on South Africa, which ended up breaking the apartheid regime. And, our brother Nelson Mandela, when he got out of prison, he thanked black Americans for advocating to help end apartheid. He did that. He made sure to give, and we got nothing but respect for what, Nelson Mandela said. He's not like some of these today who don't say, hey, man, I appreciate what y'all done. That's all really sometimes brothers and sisters are asking for. Just say, hey, man, I appreciate y'all. Like my grandmother used to say, you speak to a dog and you even acknowledge a dog too. So dogs should at least, because you acknowledge some things. But then you have some of our distant cousins today and I don't know who been telling them what, but some of them, not all, that's why I say some, I don't want to say all, have came in here. And when black Americans wanted unification and say, hey, look, okay, you are distant cousins from the motherland or the Caribbean. Hey, we all black, right? So let's go ahead on and join together and let's, work together. And if we got any issues or problems with the folks, we'll deal with it. But what a lot of them have done was, I don't want to be around those black Americans. Black Americans didn't put no one in slavery, like, let's say in the Caribbean. We didn't enslave anybody in the Caribbean. We haven't colonized the Caribbean at all. Same thing in the African continent. We didn't colonize the continent, which colonization was slavery, because been doing a lot of research into colonization, and they had to work without payment. Take places like the Congo. If they didn't make their rubber quota, Leopold was having their hand chopped off. You understand? They was working them with colonization all the way up to the 60s with some countries, and then all the way up to, with apartheid, with like places like South Africa, Zimbabwe, they got their freedom in the 80s, with our great brother Robert Mugabe. And we always supported our brother Robert Mugabe and what his fight against Rhodesia and all of that. He helped liberate that country. We've always been on the side of our African brothers and sisters when they're trying to fight and speak up for them. So when this new group have came in the past, I don't know. I can't even say it was the 90s like that. I can't say that. I don't know if these people came in around the 2010s. I don't know when they came in. But this stay away from black people deal, black Americans, and you're using stereotypes from TV like you don't have the internet on the continent. I know it as well as anybody else know. Google, Bing, and all those other places work. You have all kind of television in the continent. I've been there. I've watched the television. So you have ways to research. So it'd be like me saying, well, everybody over there is like what I used to see on National Geographic Explorer. Or everybody over there is like with Sally Struthers, like Feed the Christian Children's Fund or something like that, right? That will be my thought process. And I don't want to be around them people because look at how they live it. Oh, forget that. I'd rather stay, you know what I'm saying? No, you get education and you learn. But instead of taking responsibility for you not doing education, some of you want to say, well, the folks told me in immigration to stay away from y'all. Well, you know what? The folks have told us to stay away from y'all too. The folks have told us, oh, you don't want to be around them Caribbeans. You want to be around this one. They drug dealers, they this. The folks told us don't even go to Africa at all. They say because you got it way better here in America, and it's all warlords, and it's this and that and the third. But if you actually do your own research, go for yourself. When you go for yourself, the same people that told you not to go is the same people that's on the plane. And matter of fact, it's more of them on the plane than black folks are. And that's what tripped me out the first time I went to Ethiopia, because, I'm like, in that time period, a lot of things were happening in Black America. So I was just really just paying attention to a lot. And then when we got on that plane with Ethiopian Airlines, I was like, well, and I told Sharif, I said, Sharif, don't these same people be telling us about how Africa is and go back to Africa, and why are they going? So when I seen that, I was saying, okay, man, I gotta look more into this thing. But I'm gonna play the video and let's get into what she has to say. And let's go from there. So give me a second. Where is it at? Here we go.
These diaspora wars between Africans from the continent and our distant relatives in the Americas are really getting out of hand. The amount of hate I received in the last days in the comment sections of my last videos is really disturbing. For those who blame Africans for the transatlantic slave trade and claim that we sold your ancestors, I want to give you one example to show you how both our histories, the history of the transatlantic slave trade on the one hand and the history of colonialism on the African continent, are deeply entangled. The same.
Okay, I wanted to stop right there, just for a second. Okay, listen. We're going to have to talk about history here, right? And history says that there were some tribes that was basically selling their ops. Let's call it what it is. They was beefing with another tribe. They ended up defeating the tribe. They had them as indentured servants. When the folks came around, they're like, hey, well, shoot, I'll give you money for them. I'll give you mirrors. I'll give you liquor. I'll give you this. I'll give you that, for some of them, right? And how a lot of them thought was, shoot, that's my ops anyway. I don't care about them. Yeah, take them. They my ops. Because of tribalism, right? And so there were people on the continent that were slave traders. Even if you go all the way back to the story of Liberia, when those brothers and sisters that came from America and went to Liberia, they saw them still selling slaves. And it was those ancestors that came from America and went to Liberia actually put the stop to the slave trade in Liberia. Because they're like, oh, no, we're not doing this. We're not being, no slave here. We just come from that. So we're not about to have this here. And shout out to them for putting a stop to it. But we have to understand history. Now, the crazy part about that same history is the people who were trading slaves, that same white man put those same slave traders in slavery themselves. They shipped them right off, but they helped them capture all these people, and then they end up putting them in slavery too. Because you never make a deal with the devil. That's usually what happens. And then the ones they didn't put actually into slavery, when they had colonization was slavery on the continent. They was, and to me it's kind of worse because y'all the majority and you let a minority of people control you. So you have people like Emmanuel Acho saying, well, I can get around the folks and talk because I don't have that sting or that pain. Nigeria was colonized by the British, sir. And your Nigerian ancestors were put in slave labor. Oh, yes, they were. I don't know why people think that there was no slavery on the African continent. I don't understand that. You say, well, we were colonized. No, you were enslaved. Them folks would sit up there and cross their legs and you'll be serving them tea and anything else they want. How many of them pictures that you've seen, even up to the 1930s, And y'all sit up there, and I'll show y'all that picture, because one picture I say, wow, out of Senegal. And this was in 1930. Looked like something from slavery. So what are you talking about? But we got to be real on that. So with some, and I'm not talking about her, I'm not saying she had anything mean to say or nothing, right? She looked like she's Somali, else she looked like. I'm not saying nothing bad about her. But there's still some pain there that can be easily rectified. That's the issue. It can be easily rectified. And this, like you say, diaspora warring, the folks benefit from that. In the end, they do. Because as long as they can keep us against each other for whatever the reason, they benefit. The folks have always moved with divide and conquer. That's how they move. And other groups that come here have figured out, okay, I don't really like y'all either, but in America, we got to move together. For instance, when the Asians are here, it's not just one group of Asians. When y'all say Asians, no. Asians are made up of Chinese, Japanese. You have Filipinos here. You have Thai people here. You know, you have Korean people here. You have all these different people who come from different lineages in the Asian world. And yet when they get here, they can put that aside and work together and say, well, we got the Asian community. Now, they may break off in their little subgroups, but politically, they know how to work together, and they don't undermine other Asian people like that politically. If you look at the Hispanic people, right? They got Mexicans, they got Panamanians, Guatemalans, El Salvadorians. They got all these different people here that's considered Hispanic. They all different people. And they would want you to call a Mexican, don't want to be called a Puerto Rican, and a Puerto Rican don't want to be called a Guatemalan. They don't want that. But when it comes to them working together on something, when they say something for Hispanic, they don't say, well, stay away from this one, stay away from that one. I don't fool with them, I don't fool with that one. No, they try to work together. But when it comes to us, it's a bunch of infighting. And this is why slavery and colonization happened, because the same infighting that's happening in 2024 was happening in 1624. The same infighting. And like when black folks are gonna learn globally to stop fighting against each other. You don't have to live with a person. You could be definitely different than the next one. That's the beauty of the diaspora. We are multiple different people, multiple different languages, definitely a lot of culture, heritage. That's okay to be different. But for some reason, it's like, and I say this problem is in the continent, this problem is in Caribbean, this problem is even in America. We always don't want to work together, even within our own groups. We can say Black America. You got Black Americans don't want to work with other Black Americans for a plethora of reasons. The only time we willing to put all that aside, unless they have a blood sacrifice. Prime example, a blood sacrifice would be George Floyd. We're willing to put all those differences aside because it takes something that horrific for us to put aside our differences and work as one, even in Black America. When Freddie Gray happened, even the gangs that's against each other, they say, you know what, man, we can't be beefing like that. We got a bigger problem. And they put all that mess aside because of what happened, let's say with Freddie Gray. Why does it take someone to die in that horrific manner for us to unify? And then it's a temporary unity because the folks know how to dissipate it by just giving you certain things, giving you money. You don't take the energy and say, let's continue this unity and let's really get ahead now. We all gonna unify on that. The gangs are still together. Everybody, from the boardroom to the hood, everybody together. Why can't we just keep that energy? These people know how to dissipate the energy by just throwing money and trinkets at you. And all of a sudden now it's dissipated. And then it's hard for it to get back to that kind of unity. That's what get on my nerves. Why it has to wait till the next George Floyd happen for us to be thinking let's work together as one group of people? Those people, when they see us come together as one, they get afraid of that. That's why they say, okay, we got to break up any kind of unification that they have. Even on the continent, they got to break up any kind of unification that you got over there. If you got unification in the Caribbean, they got to break that up. They cannot have nobody unifying. And the sad part is, you also have to take responsibility on this, some of our distant cousins in America. When Black Americans say, hey, let's work together, we got more numbers, let's work together, a lot of you said no. But let me continue with the video.
Naval forces that the British Empire used to patrol the west coast of Africa in order to, as they claimed, abolish the slave trade, a slave trade that they have been profiting of and controlling for more than 400 years, were the same ships that Britain used to conquer, destroy, loot and colonize the ancient West African empires such as the Kingdom of Benin. The British colonial forces claimed that the reason for the destruction of these empires was to end the slave trade and to bring civilization. But fam, this was just a pretext. So I'm not sure if those who claim that we Africans sold your ancestors do realize that you are simply playing into the hands of the oppressor. So please, let's stop the blame game and understand that none of us can be free until all of us are free.
So you can't say also you're trying to make a unity call, but then you're saying playing the blame game. Well, ma'am, you have to accept truth for what it is. You can't say it's a blame. Well, see, when you tell somebody blame game, you're kind of insulting them at that point because it's documented history. It's world history. It happened, right? I'm not saying you had something to do with it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's documented history. When people say, well, how come y'all saying that we need to go back to our home, but how come y'all didn't come get us all these years? It's just questions that you have to ask because you have to think about it. We were in an environment that's the most extremely hostile environment for us, right? Our life expectancy was never really high during slavery like that. We was treated less than dogs, okay? Because even the master's dog was treated a lot better than Black Americans were treated. Then after we do all the fighting that we do in this country to get rights and freedoms, and many of us literally died to get that. Many of us suffered, many of us lost things, lost millions upon millions of acres of land, lost trillions of dollars in money that we have lost. Fathers have been lost, leaving a lot of single mothers. Children sometimes lost their mothers too, sometimes lost both. Orphans out here because of their terrorism. So all the things that we fought, and then we help open up a door, right? And then when this door is opened, then we say, okay, brother, hey, glad you're here. Let's go on and unify. And you're like, nah, I'm not. Because see, we didn't understand that some come to the mindset, well, I don't want to buck against the folks because they're going to deport me out of here. So I'm going to do whatever I got to do to kind of stay in their good graces. So going by you, I'm not going to do that, right? Now, let's say a person could have that argument if they first came here. But once their children are born here, they can't do that to you. So that's no excuse. Once you get children, once you've been here, and plenty of them have been here for several, generations, maybe 1, 2. Once you get that first, second generation here, well, they can't deport you. So what are you talking about? People here that don't even have the accents of their homeland. Matter of fact, in their homeland, they don't even accept them. Now, we hear about the term Akata, right? Do you know Nigerian people who are born in America, they're called Akata over there? They're not even accepted really as Nigerian. They say they more so an American. Yeah, they got the Nigerian names and customs, but they're not really a Nigerian. They're an Akata. And not everybody say Akata either, but I'm saying those who say that. So when Black Americans say, listen, do you understand that the response of delineation came through several means. One, it was a great rejection of unification. You can't unify with somebody that don't want to be with you. It's like if you're in a relationship with a woman or a man. If that woman or man don't want to be in a relationship with you, you could try. Well, eventually you're going to say, hey, I tried. We tried to work it out. You don't want the relationship. So I'm going to have to, move around. It's just bottom line. I got to move around now. So Black America just said that we're going to have to kind of move around. The second issue that we was having, not only that it was the rejection aspect, but then when some of you get in political position, you don't think about the whole of Black America, you think about your group. You form groups. You're part of CARICOM, you have your Nigerian Day things, you have all your different things that's for you, and we can't be a part of it. Once again, you're rejecting. But when it's time for the Juneteenth scholarship, when it's time for something Black History Month grant, we can't get the CARICOM scholarship, but here come people that could be in CARICOM showing up in the Black History Month scholarship or the Juneteenth scholarship. Now, is that fair? That's not fair. So you can come partake in our resources, the little bit that we get, but we can't go partake in your resources. I mean, that's not fair. Politically, a lot of you don't advocate for the whole. You look at Ilhan Omar, right? She's Somali. Do she advocate for Black America? No, she don't. She has openly said that she's going to advocate for Somalis. That's what we're talking about. What is good of you coming here and even getting in positions of power like congresswoman or congressman, and you coming over here want to advocate just for where you come from. But yet Black Americans say, oh yeah, that's a brother or sister from the diaspora. Hey, we want to make sure they get up there. No, they're not from our community, our hoods, whatever, but we want to, they'll look out. And then you get up here talking about you advocating for Somalia. That's the issue and problem. So Black Americans say, okay, we've noticed that when it comes to things like reparations, you're not really supportive of it. Some of you, not all. You're not supportive of it. Why? Then some of you will say, well, why should I have to pay reparations? I mean, my people was enslaved in the Caribbean, so why should I have to pay? Now, I get these other non-Black groups talking like that, but you're talking that way? And it only takes 2 seconds to listen what reparations is about. Reparations is about the U.S. government, not individual people. So if you have to pay reparations, you're not going to see on your check federal tax, Social Security tax, Medicare, reparations. The federal government is not going to put no reparations on your payroll check. You're not going to see a deduction from the Treasury says reparations on your statement. That's not how the government works. But yet the way a lot of people are talking, even the folks too, you're talking like they're going to put reparations on your check. The Treasury going to pull out reparations out of your bank account, yours. Why I got to pay for it? But you never talk about all the other stuff that the government is wasting money on. They waste money. And yet you never say nothing about that. But that's why I say anybody who's speaking against reparations is based on anti-Black American sentiment. Period. Because you're not screaming and yelling about all this money that's going to Ukraine in the billions. You're not screaming and yelling about all the money that's constantly keep going to Israel in the billions. Foreign nations. The same money they just now sent Israel, that could have been used right here in the United States of America. People are struggling. People are homeless. People are about to be homeless. Food prices is high. Every time you look up, you got recalls of food, recall of medicine. It's so much like things are just falling apart all over the place. And you don't say nothing about all your billions of tax dollars. But when Black Americans talking about reparations, you act like if they pay that, it's going to be on your payroll check as a deduction. It's silly. It's extremely silly. And then it's extremely offensive when groups of people that we have fought for come in here and say some stupidity like that. When you came here by choice, and I'm talking about all of you now, not just our distant cousins, you came here by choice. When you immigrate to a country, you immigrate into whatever problems they have. You immigrate into their history. You immigrate into their prosperity. You immigrate into their debts. You immigrate into whatever sentiment that has in that particular country. And if you don't want to deal with any of that, then you have the right to leave that country and go back to where you come from so you don't have to worry about that. That'd be like me saying, okay, I want to go to South Africa and then they're doing something, you know, some program, and I show up over there and say, well, why should I have to pay for it? You know, I mean, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I mean, that's my rand. I mean, why should I have to pay? I'm like, bruh, you just got here. What are you talking about? You got to pay taxes to the government, and the government gonna pay this. It has nothing to do with you. The government don't ask you nothing. It is the U.S. government that would pay reparations. Or California right now, what's going on up there? It would be the state government in California that would be doing that. Not individuals would not have reparations on your payroll check or coming out your bank account from the U.S. Treasury. It's not going to happen that way. The IRS is not going to say at tax time, okay, you got to pay a reparations payment to the IRS. That's not the way that's going to work. But that is the silly things that people are saying. If a group of people made a way for me to come into a country to help me live a life that I had never lived before, I've given opportunity to my children, my children's children. I got money to send back to my homeland where I come from to take care of them because I'm doing so great over here. You doggone right I'm going to be appreciative of the people that help me. So if they need something, I'm like, hey, what y'all got going on? Hey, how can I be down? What I can support. You don't even have to be, listen, Black America is not even asking none of you to be on the front line. You can just lend your voice as support. You could donate something for support. Nobody's asking you to get on the front line and do anything. That's the beauty of it. Just be supportive of it. And that's the thing. When it comes to our distant cousins that's coming over here talking about you don't want to pay something, if Black Americans get reparations, then guess what's going to happen? That means the Caribbean is going to get reparations. That means the African continent is going to get reparations. It's going to be a ripple effect that's going to happen. Stop being so short-sighted and jealous-minded, because see, one thing I see in the Black world, we can't stand to see another Black person, another African, another Caribbean get something more than us, not even $10 more. Not even $10. We can't stand that. Now I'm talking about as a collective of people. I've seen it my whole life. It ain't nowhere in the Black world I haven't seen that people don't act that way. Can't stand to see a Black person get anything. And that's what's holding all of us back. If we have each other's back, we can get things done. Now, so you have people that's kind of upset with the rejection part of it. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to say the rejection part is kind of just making me upset. You know, because people are not going to say that. They're going to be in their pride and say, oh, I don't care about them. Like, if you didn't care, you wouldn't talk about it as much as you do. You care. You do care. Because you're looking at people that literally your distant cousin, sometimes talking crap about you like the folks. You know, you saying terms like Jareer and all that. Like, what are you saying those terms for? And we all know how the folks feel about y'all. Ask Muhammad Noor about that. If you remember that case. When them folks jammed up Muhammad Noor, and technically what he did was, to me, justified. And he only shot the gun one time. If you remember Muhammad Noor, he was a Minnesota police officer. They had a white lady show up to their car. They had got a call about some issue that happened. And she showed up. They thought it was a suspect or something. So Muhammad Noor shot her one time. He shot her fatally and took her life. It wasn't like intentional. He thought, he was afraid for his life. And he did that. He didn't empty the magazine or none of that. It was a one-shot deal. Now, we have watched our people, run away from them, literally run away from them, where that's not a danger, no weapon, and they unload the whole magazine at that black person and say they was afraid of their life and nothing happens to them. But Muhammad Noor said it at the time. He's Somali, right? They gave his behind 12 years. I think he's out now, but they gave him 12 years at the time. And you had the Somali community talking about Black Lives Matter all of a sudden, right? And this is racism and all that. Oh, really? It's racism. And we try to tell some of y'all, some of our distant cousins, some of y'all who got y'all silly, we try to tell y'all we've been knowing these people for hundreds and hundreds of years. Why you think you gonna come in here and they're gonna treat you better? That's the crazy part. It's like, I never forget when I was in Florida one time and I talked to a Haitian brother. And me and this Haitian brother was talking to Orlando, actually. We was outside and he was telling me how the folks try to do, this divide thing. And he was saying that one of the folks, a female, had told him that she liked Haitians a lot better than Black Americans. Oh, y'all work harder, y'all this and that and the third. And he said, man, I stopped her. He said, wait a minute, no. You're not gonna do this. That's my brothers. Why are you talking about them? And he said, yeah, I had to tell her that, man. He said, I see exactly what you were talking about, because he watched the show. And I said, brother, that's what they try to do to us, man. They try to keep us at each other's throat. I say, if you look at the majority of our problems, I say, you always gonna find them in the middle of it. Always. Any problem, you dig deep enough, even on the continent, the Caribbean, anywhere, if you dig deep enough, you follow the money. That's the key. Follow the money, follow the guns, follow all of that. It's going to lead right back to them. Every time. I know the calamity they keep going on. You can look in Latin America. They keep calamity there. The reason why they don't have the calamity in China is because the Chinese are so hardcore about, they ain't coming in there doing nothing in China. It ain't happening. Same thing with Russia. They ain't coming in there. Man, Putin got that tight. They're not going to North Korea with that because Kim Jong-un, you're not coming across here. He got that locked down and tight too. But unfortunately, in the diaspora, the countries don't have it that tight, so them folks will come in and out doing what they want to do, doing their dirt, committing SA, committing pedo stuff. They do all kind of filth they do in the diaspora. And if y'all would listen to us and we warn y'all, some of y'all come later and tell us, yeah, I heard what y'all was saying. I see exactly what y'all talking about now. I'm like, bro, we've been telling y'all. Why are you starting to come in this late, Johnny come lately, listening to what we're saying? We're trying to save y'all. Yeah, brothers like Amadou Diallo, look at what the NYPD did to him. It's like, we try to tell y'all, you're not, listen, I'm going to tell you this. You're not special. No matter what they say to you, you're not special. No matter how much they say you're better and, you work harder, like, you're not impressing me by telling me I work harder. I don't want to work hard. If you, listen, a good Black American brother, elderly brother, when I was 19 years old, gave me some of the best advice ever in my life, and I took that advice. Let me tell y'all older people something. Not all younger people will dismiss you. Some will. But a young brother like myself, I was working at Walmart, 19 years old. And I was, yeah, you 19, you brute strength, everything, right? The way I was lifting things. And the older brother said, hey. He worked in maintenance, actually. He said, hey, young man, stop what you're doing. And I'm like, huh? I got this. He said, no, listen to me. It's always a way to work smart. He said, always in life, work smart. Don't ever try to pride yourself in working hard, because people who work hard all their life, they end up being poor. They're going to have a broken back, sick, and they're going to die. And when you get my age, he said, you're going to feel it too. You may not feel it right now. When you get my age, you're going to feel all that. He said, I'm telling you, always try to figure out a way to work smart. And I took that to heart, what that brother said to me. But what if I did not take to heart what that brother said? So I've always tried to figure out ways, how can I do this to work smarter, not harder? If I'm going to use my body for something, let it be for something enjoyable. Let it be for something health-wise. Let it be, but why am I going to break myself and get the job done at the same time? Do I need to get some technology to help me do it? Do I need to maybe get someone else to come help me do something so it can be a team effort? What do we need to do? So I've always done that. So it's the same thing to some of my distant cousins. Black Americans have told a lot of y'all advice, how to move, how to do whatever. And some of you have rejected that. Now some of you are starting to see, like in Christian Aubunseli, the Nigerian brother, that Courtney Clenny girl, she was whipping up on him or whatever all that time. If he had some Black Americans around him, and that first time that would have happened, our brother was like, hey man, you better get away from that one. She gonna get you put in jail at minimum. Or she gonna get the police to shoot you up, something. That one is crazy, bro. You need to leave that one alone. Because I know a Black American brother will pull. How many Black American brothers you seen a brother fooling with Courtney Clenny, and you pulled his coattail and say, hey, bro, that ain't it, man. That ain't it. She gonna get you put in jail. She gonna, you pulled him to the side and pulled his coattail. Some listen, some don't. But if Christian has some good Black American brothers around him, schooling him on these folks over here in America, I believe Christian would be alive today. And that woman took that man's life. And then when she took his life, his family come out saying, oh, where's Black Americans, I was like, oh, but then you go through his timeline and he's saying things against Black Americans. Talking about Black American women. Why? What did Black American women do to him? Nothing. Saying a kata and all that. So when Black America saw his timeline, they said, okay, bro, yeah, I'm gonna let y'all handle that. Let your community handle that. And the family was shocked, like, what? Like, y'all not gonna come to our rescue? Bro, it's a different day now. Black Americans are checking people's timeline. They're checking history. They're checking paperwork. They checking now. And because they've been checking on social media, they've been removing their flags. And that's another thing. Can y'all help me understand something? Like I said, listen, I love everybody, okay? I ain't got it against nobody. But help me understand something. You immigrate to America. Why are you swinging the flag of where you come from? Help me understand it. Because I wouldn't immigrate nowhere and just swinging the American flag so hard. Oh, I love America, 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 America. Well, if I loved America, I would stay in America. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And not to say you have to hate America to go to another country, no. But I mean, and then some of you, when Black Americans say, hey, when we talked about this the other day, hey, I love America, I love where I come from, I love the history. Oh, this country's imperial. Okay, you swinging your flag saying America is an imperial country, and yet you're in the imperial country that you say that we can't say we love America, we choose to love America. So can y'all help me with that? Why they swing their flag so hard? Like they just swing their flag. I mean, boy, some of them are swinging that flag. And I think somebody was talking about Jamaican food the other day in here. I'm sorry, y'all. Jamaican food is good. Look, we got a restaurant right here in Houston called Cool Runnings. Man, Cool Runnings be throwing down. Nah, I disagree with you on that. I like Jamaican food. Shout out to the Jamaicans on that food. The other day I went to eat Ethiopian food. Shout out to the Ethiopians. Listen, I love the different food in the diaspora. I love it. But so like, nah, I mean, maybe you don't like it, but I love trying different food. I love it. You say when it comes to lineage-based reparations, what will stop them from manipulating our records? It won't work because the California Reparations Commission and how they did that with constitutional law, they made that Ed Bloom proof because they knew Ed Bloom was coming, right? So the key is, if the Democrat Party want to survive, if I was Democrat Party and I want to keep black people, reparations got to pass in California. And if Democrats do that as a ripple effect, then that will keep black people voting Democrat for at least for another 50 years, if they do that. I've been said that. If Joe Biden say, hey, we gonna do reparations in the form of cash payments, we doing this, that, and the third, all Democrats are voting for it. It is mandatory. Democrats have to vote for reparations. You can't be against it. And all the Democrats was going to do it. Everybody vote Democrat. Hell, I'll vote Democrat. At that point, I'll say, oh, shoot, man, Biden gonna do reparations? Hell yeah, I'll vote Biden. I've been saying that Democrats got to do, if they want black people, again, they got to do reparations. They can't live off of the Civil Rights Bill no more. That's done. You have a whole different generation of people that have lived outside of that time period. So you got to give something else now. You focus more on LGBT, you focus more on immigration, you focus more on those sort of things, right? And now when you need somebody to come vote for you, Democrats, you can't come to the immigrants because they're not legal to vote. You LGBT, some of them are Republicans. A lot of them are Republicans, believe it or not, LGBT. They're not all Democrats. So you can't really go to them and say the LGBT community as a whole. But the only people you still trying to come to is black Americans. But wouldn't it be wise for California to go ahead on? I think they said $800 billion they had kind of approved. Or they in the bill they say, right? $800 billion that was trying to come out of committee. I think that would make the Democrat Party, at least in California, look good. In my opinion. Who said Jamaican food is better than soul food? I mean, well, that's that person's opinion. I don't get mad if somebody say that. I mean, if they like Jamaican food more than soul food, hey, that's their opinion. That's their palate in their mouth, right? I could say one food is better than another too. I don't have any favorites. I mean, now listen, some of the food that we make is, like, look, my favorite dish growing up, straight up, my grandmother. Rice, definitely some okra. If you know how to cook okra right, of course. And in that okra, you gotta have your little sausage in that okra. Definitely gotta have that seasoning, the dry shrimp in there. That's for sure. Definitely gotta cook some sort of meat and pick a meat. Hell, I used to like them barbecue turkey necks. And my grandmother put that in the roaster pan. Oh man, I ain't had turkey necks like that. My Lord, ooh. If y'all know anybody who makes some good turkey necks in Houston, please tell me where they at so I can go get it. I ain't had no good turkey necks like that in a long time. Let's say, because when she do them barbecue turkey necks, it would have, the barbecue sauce that hit the bottom of that roasted pan. So you put some of that sauce, and that sauce kind of mix a little bit with some of that juice from the turkey. And so, boy, you get some of that sauce, I'll put that on my rice. And she always has some sort of bean every day. People today talking about they're getting so much colon cancer because nobody's eating fiber anymore. Every day I was eating fiber. It was some sort of bean, whether black-eyed pea, whether it's pinto bean, whether it's those red, kidney bean. If it was a lima bean, it was some sort of bean. Navy bean, it was a bean every single day. And I used to ask my grandma, why you make beans every day? She said, because you got to cook food to stick to your ribs, especially you growing boys. Y'all got to have food stick to your ribs. So you need some rice, some beans, and some sort of meat every day. And don't let her make them yams. Boy, man, she'll make them yams. And I remember one time I tried to make it on my own. I say, Mimi, why mine didn't come out like yours? He said, oh. I say, because you did something wrong. I said, what I do wrong? Well, she would even get the can of them. I say, you do it out the can? She say, oh yeah, I'm telling you. So what she showed me to do was you dump all the juice, but you know how you open up the can, but you kind of hold it where the stuff won't fall out, so pour out the juice. Well, you need to have to take at the time, tablespoon of butter, cup of sugar, bring it to a boil. Once you bring that to a boil, then you throw the yams back in there. Cover that stuff up, let it cook about a good 15, 20 minutes. I said, oh, that's what it was. And it's not like you think it's a cup of sugar. No, it is just right. It's not like, oh my God, it's like diabetes. No, it was just right. And I'm like, I want yams. I wanted yams with everything. Oh, you made macaroni? Oh, where them yams at? I want it with everything, or the gumbo. I'm from the South. All my family from Louisiana. Gumbo, definitely got to have your gumbo. Them salmon croquettes my grandmother would make. I didn't even know what Pillsbury was until I became almost grown. I didn't know what biscuits in a can was, because my grandmother always made biscuits from scratch. She didn't go get no Aunt Jemima or none of that. I'm talking about the pancake mix. Oh, no. My grandmother made pancakes from scratch. That self-rising flour, milk, and something else she was adding. But every time, everything she was making was from scratch. If they had got some figs from across the street, she'll make the fig preserves, can them. And them fig preserves would be so good on them biscuits. Boy, she made them good buttermilk biscuits. Them biscuits be about this big, y'all. But buttermilk biscuits. That Pillsbury or Grand's biscuit, all that crap that comes from the grocery store. No. You say cornbread? Oh yeah, cornbread too. Yeah, Keisha, definitely cornbread. Whether you do it in the oven or you do it on the skillet, either or. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm always gonna love that kind of food, but I can also like to try other foods too. You know what I'm saying? So he say them biscuits, yeah, with lard. You say with that Crisco and all that. Yeah. You say your mouth is salivating. Yeah, I'm just thinking. You say, yeah, you need some gumbo. Yeah, man, I haven't had no gumbo, in years too. Because I used to always just eat my grandmother's gumbo. I didn't go buy no gumbo from nowhere. Anytime I went somewhere, get some gumbo, like, man, what is this? And then my grandmother would make her roux from scratch. Now later, she found Dugays. If you know who Dugays are, you're from Port Arthur. Dugays actually started making a roux. So she tried it and she said, okay, this roux is actually good to use. But she used to make that roux from scratch. Everything she used to do from scratch. Now we didn't eat chitlins. No, not in my family. We didn't eat chitlins. We didn't eat tripe either. We didn't eat no raccoon either. No, we didn't eat that. That's not nothing we ate. You say, nah, I'm not Gullah. I'm just from, Port Arthur, family from Louisiana. So no, the skillet, yeah, the cornbread and the skillet. Definitely. Oh yeah, you're right. Elwood, yeah, you don't eat out. That was a no-no. Man, look, in my grandmother's, you know how she feels, she didn't even want another woman cooking for my grandfather. She didn't want nobody bringing, oh, this comes from so-and-so, because the way they thought, if you let another woman feed your man, then obviously another woman gonna do something else with your man too. So you need to be feeding your man. But then my grandfather, he was a type, he wouldn't want to eat no food from nobody else. He actually sit there and starve and wait for my grandmother to do it. He said, nah, I'll wait till Dorothy fix it. I don't want that, you know. And he was serious. He'll starve before he eat somebody else's food, unless he cooks something himself. No, the catfish, you know, we had a lot of crawfish balls, you know, in the summertime, that's why I don't eat crawfish to this day. I peeled so much crawfish growing up, Lord, I peeled so much crawfish. Now, if I have some crawfish, and I'm talking about if I'm walking on the wild side, maybe I have some blackened crawfish tails, I'm not for peeling, no. I peeled way too much crawfish growing up. I'm not peeling crawfish no more. I ain't doing it. No, my family is not from New Orleans, But they're from Louisiana, but not from New Orleans. My family came to Port Arthur because they had a bunch of jobs. They had a bunch of refinery jobs, and a lot of black families moved from a lot of different cities. They moved from Lake Charles, Rain, Jeanerette, St. Martinville, New Iberia, all those places like that. They moved to Port Arthur to get those jobs. They had a big Texaco plant open, and they had a lot of jobs. And my grandfather's one of them that got the job. He worked at Texaco for about, I think, 32 years. So he retired. 32 years. And my grandfather, he put me on so much game about them folks. You know, I'm like, so a lot of game I have received came from my grandparents about the folks. And they had the stories to back it up, because they went through the Jim Crow. They went through the Klan and all that. They went through that. To whom am I not to listen, right? I'm going to answer that one question. What's the solution you propose to solve the diaspora wars? I'm going to say something that's going to be could be controversial. I say this. If you wanna stop the diaspora warring, start marrying each other. Especially the women. If a bunch of women start marrying a bunch of black American brothers, all that are in because now your families are cross-pollinating now, right? You know, and that's how you learn of each other's culture. You have to be family with each other. If you're not family with each other, you're not gonna really learn anything about somebody else. But you're willing to learn if you're in a marriage with somebody. That's one way you could do that. And keep the folks out your business. If you just keep the folks out your business, and if you have the attitude, if he's speaking, he lying, that's really number 1 and 2. Keep the folks out of our business. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're running over time. Thank you for joining us on the stream. It's greatly appreciated. Make sure you click the subscribe button if you haven't before. Click the like button. Download the African Diaspora News Channel app in the Google Play and Apple App Store. Once you do that, get a membership, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or yearly. We're slowly trying to get to our 10,000 members on the app. That's our ultimate goal, to be completely free of anything with, censorship or whatever like that could happen on these platforms. I can't wait to have that celebration. You better believe I will have a celebration when we get our 10,000 members on that app. If you're interested, once again, to go to Ethiopia, we'll leave the comment after the stream and the pin at the top. And you can click that. You can look at the itinerary, see if you're interested. Make sure you secure your spot. I know some people get paid on Thursday, Friday. Don't think about it. Just do it because I don't want you to come later, a week before, the day before, talking about, okay, I'm going to pay. I'm ready to go. No, you should have secured it a long time ago, while at least there's 18 spots left. So thank y'all for listening. We'll see you on the next one.